So speaking of rolling in the grave,
All right.
that was a terrible transition, but we'll just go with it. So this episode was called "The Crashes, the Waves, and the Collapse." We've already talked about the collapse of our military and the crashes in the Bitcoin industry, but now I want to cover the waves that's been going on in your personal life. We just for a quick update, if you guys will go back and watch the Drunken Cheater episode, where Anthony kind of laid out a story that had happened to him recently about some very close friends of his that he'd been friends with for years. And he spoke on the potential ripple effects that's going to cause throughout his social circle. Well, lo and behold, you fucking called it.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing ripple effects.
Yeah, so I talked to you recently about the direction of which the show is going to go. And I just want people to understand what's coming on this show here soon. I have been through a lot. Like, I've done a lot for my friends. I have felt like over the years I've been taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like I'm the one that's constantly making the effort to go and see my friends. This is what we discussed. Make time for them because, I do have a family.
Right.
So I try to juggle my friends and my personal life. And I make that effort to do that. To call people or text people or, hey, let's go do this or, hey, let's go do that, plan things and so forth. And I've helped a lot of my friends over the years. So when you're constantly taken advantage of and people do you wrong, you kind of built up this level of, I wouldn't say, it's resentment. And I'm going to get to the story here in a second. I just kind of want to give people an idea of where kind of where I'm at.
Right.
Psychologically and just mentally and
we got some
sense.
interesting stuff coming up here.
So
pretty soon.
I over the last couple of weeks, I've had to really reevaluate my friends. I've had to reevaluate just my life in general and what I'm doing with my life when it comes to my friends, but also with my family.
Right.
I'm in a season of my life where I had to I'm finally going to have to start speaking up and exposing things for what they are, because right now I am mentally not in a good place.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty fucked up in the head right now because this has been brewing for years. And I think what happened was with this last situation, I think it toppled everything. I think it finally pushed me over that deep end.
Like the first domino finally fell over.
Just finally fell. And now it's a domino effect. It's a snowball that you can't stop. And here's the thing, I'm not going to let it stop. So over the next couple of weeks, I'm exposing friends. I'm going to talk about my family. And I'm going to talk about every single thing that people have done to me. Now, I've gotten some pushback on that. They're like, well, you're not perfect. Well, no, I'm not perfect. The one thing that's missing in our society is personal accountability. And this is something that we often discuss on the show.
Yep.
I have held myself very, very accountable for the things that I've done. When people have asked me if I've cheated before, yes, I've cheated. There's a lot of things that I look back at my life and I understand that they were wrong. But because they were wrong and I can admit to it, I can learn from it. I've grown because of it. Right. I'm in a different place in my life to where morally I understand now more than ever, this is what's right, this is what's wrong. If you're going to hold me account to something I did 20 years ago, that you're stuck there. I'm not. I've moved on. I'm trying to better myself. So in the process of bettering myself, I have to reevaluate my friends.
Yeah, and that's something that a lot of people will do in your life is the more you try to better yourself, the more they'll continuously try to drag you back down, because that means that the other alternative is they actually have to work on themselves. It's much easier just bring you back down than it is to actually improve on themselves. So they'll sit there and be shitty to you.
So I'm kind of in this state of mind right now where I have zero fucks to give, and what's going to happen is that every person that's ever done me wrong, this is for me my way of finally just starting to talk about things. Everything from the Hurricane Harvey donation drive and the few people that fucking did me wrong, from the relationships and marriages that I've been in, that the people that have cheated or emotionally had affairs on me, all the way down to my mom and all the way to my sister and the situation with my dad. Like, I need to finally say something.
Mm-hmm.
because people think that it's okay for them to treat me the way that they do, and I'm just supposed to accept this sort of behavior with no repercussions towards them. No, that shit stops. And that's what I'm saying. I think the whole situation that happened currently was just that
Kind of seemed like an eye opener a little bit the way you were talking to me. Like it was just it was your final straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak.
Right.
It was the one thing that like you said, all right, I see what this is. And I'm sitting there thinking about, times are getting tough and you're going to need to keep your friends close. Your enemies closer, they say, but you got to make good connections with trustworthy people that have values, that have moral principles, because to have people around you that just kind of just float like a leaf on the wind on the moral, ocean, you're not going to feel comfortable and confident that you can trust them in a tense situation. Like if shit goes downhill, are they going to be the first one that's going to narc me out because they're just going to do what they want to do? You got to, I don't know, there's some bigger picture here at play that I'm trying to bring into this a little bit, but
no, I just think that the very moral fabric of what should be is no longer there, meaning that the trust, the loyalty, the commitment that we ought to have to our friends and to our family, the mutual respect is no longer there.
Yeah. Mutual being the key word there.
We think that it's okay to talk to other people in a certain way. I've had the one thing I've learned about me just by this whole situation is that, I understand, we discussed this before, that I'm very I'm brutally honest to almost to a fault, but how did I get here? I got here because of the way people have treated me over the years. I know myself well enough to know that I don't want to be this person. And that kind of leads me to what happened today. And last time on the show, we kind of discussed the ripple effect that I didn't want to happen. If certain things were done, if certain people had apologized, or had that discussion with a friend of mine that was inappropriately touched, or contacted, all of this would have gone away.
Yeah.
You handle your shit.
Yeah, you take responsibility for the shit that you've done wrong.
Right. Like I have over the years.
You make the apologies. You humble yourself and recognize the fact that you're not perfect and you made mistakes.
Yeah.
And people will forgive you if you actually put in the effort to be forgiven,
Well, and that was my biggest concern because, again, as we spoke once before, the friend of mine involved that I've known for close to 30 years, I was trying to protect. I didn't want anything bad to happen to her. And I even sent her, a message telling her that people are going to find out about this. Now, she thought I was going to go run and tell people what was going on. I never did.
No,
what I meant was I'm going to be placed in certain situations where I'm going to have to correct this. I'm going to have to tell people, hey, be careful. This is what I've been going through.
Yeah.
I recently received a text message. It was today. I was out at the lake and I was fishing. I'm going to have to try to be careful with this because we are live and I don't want to give any names away and I don't want to give any, people are going to figure this out. But I had received a text message from somebody in the music industry that had extra tickets to a concert for tomorrow night.
Mm-hmm.
Right. One of the perks of being involved in the music industry over the years is that I have a lot of contacts that tend to do that, at the last minute. And, he's like, I've got 12 tickets. I want you guys to come out, see us. It's a big event. It's a really good thing. But the very next text message that I got was, can you ask those?
Yeah, ask the drunken cheater and his wife
if they want to
come along.
If they want to come along.
Yeah.
I kind of looked at my phone and I'm like,
Yep. This is the moment. What
this
do I
is
do?
not.
Now you're put in a position.
We just talked about this last week, dude.
Yeah.
The ripple effect.
That was fast, actually.
Well, I did not expect to hear from him.
No, not this quick.
Usually when I the people I know in the music industry, when they get in touch with me, it's usually for social events. This is where I do a lot of my networking with people in the music industry to help with a lot of the charity events that I do put on.
Right.
Or when disasters happen, they tend to step up and want to help people in need.
Mm-hmm.
This has been kind of the correlation between me and the music industry after I got out of it many, many years ago. So for me, I love building those relationships. And one of the reasons why I love it so much is because I respect the hell out of the artists and producers and the people in the entertainment business.
Right.
And it's fun. You know, we get along. It's personal, but yes, it's also professional. But when I'm sitting here reading that text, I'm thinking to myself, I don't know what to do here, because she has me blocked, and I didn't know really what to do. Like I didn't know. And here's the thing: I have a moral responsibility to my friends, especially people who have a bigger social circle than I do, because the last thing I want to do is jeopardize those relationships that I've built for so many years.
Right.
Because I hate to say this, but without a little bit of their help, a lot of the things that I've done in the community service area would not have happened because of their involvement. You know, they have
I mean, you have
the
a good-
financial, I have a very good reputation within my community and surrounding Nashville areas.
It's like you have a good thing going here. You know, everybody's cool. Everybody's gets along. We're doing some great things in the world,
Right.
and then you have a couple of assholes. You know,
So it's
like a turd in the punch bowl. You you know, that stuff, you can't get that out.
It's my reputation. This is 20 years of my life that I have built.
Right.
That a lot of people have come to know, and a lot of people have come to respect that I do. And I've always kept that integrity. I would lose that integrity if I don't make people aware of what's going on, because I don't think it's fair to them to me not say anything and then those individuals still come around,
Right.
knowing their behavior is not acceptable. I could not live with myself, and I'm not going to sit here and put on this fucking fake facade in front of people that I've known for I've known this person, this artist, my God, close to 10 years. And he's got some pretty big hits. He's got some chart-topping songs.
Yep. Moving on.
Sorry. Well, I'm just trying to, like, this is the ripple effect. This is how far this has now gone, because this is personal. My relationship to those in the music industry is also personal, but it's more professional.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, you know, when I had this, I told him, I said, man, I said, give me a call. And I didn't want to do this.
Mm-mm.
I did not want to have that conversation with him.
But you knew you had to, because you were.
I was left no choice but to have that conversation.
Yeah, like it's like, dude, these people you thought were great people, turns out they're really not, and I can't let you continue believing that they are, because if he found out that you knew this whole time, what's that do for you? You know, what's that do to your
that
relationship?
Destroys
with him?
my relationship with him.
Yeah, he comes to you saying, "Bro, what the hell? You know, I'm finding out you knew about this the whole time."
Yeah,
Like,
and
how could you do me like that? Like, I'd be upset.
he's a good friend,
Yeah.
and you've met him.
Mm-hmm.
I think just the one time.
Yep.
And I could not here. This is what we discussed on the prior show, was that I cannot sit back and not say anything. And the potential of the drunken idiot to speak in such a way to possibly his significant other. Because if that would have happened and it came back and they found out that I knew that he'd been doing it to other women, that would have further complicated things.
Yeah, because then you know, hell, the drunken cheater might have been coming around your musician friend's wife.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I just
I know. See, here's the thing about your heart is you're also trying to even though you're exposing, so to speak, you're also kind of trying to protect their identities, to tell the story, because the story needs to be told in terms of, you know, the dynamics in relationships and whatnot. And I wonder how many people are out there who feel very socially isolated and can't understand why nobody wants to hang out with them. You know, maybe they have a significant other who is kind of a shithead and nobody wants to hang out with you guys.
Yeah.
Like I've heard this quite a few times. Like, hey, you're a great person, but you know, your wife, we don't really like her.
Well, the purpose
and,
of
and
having,
most people aren't going to say that to your face.
no.
And you almost wonder how many events you don't get invited to because of your social circle and the fact that nobody wants to invite that social circle into their social circle.
Right.
And it's like, y'all need to get straight with your friends and family and make sure that the relationships you're valuing and putting up above everybody else's are the right ones, if that makes sense.
No, it does. It's just, again, this was a situation that has really kind of put me in a perspective to really reevaluate my friends, my family, my life in general. Kind of the general sense of where I'm going here.
It's like you're taking stock and for the hard times to come.
Yeah, taking stock, but really just dissecting like other areas of my life that I've kind of turned a blind eye to because, you know, I try to want to see the good in people, but that doesn't seem to happen all the time. But kind of going back, it's, you know, to me, when we discussed this last week, it was like I stressed so much that I didn't want this to get out of hand.
Yeah.
Now, the reasons why I'm sharing the story, and I plan on sharing others over the next couple of weeks, is because I hope this is a learning lesson for people that are listening, or they can share it with somebody that they know is going through a similar situation. But
Right.
That's just it, though, is loyalty, just honesty, and respect. Those three elements are gone in our society. I don't see them anymore.
Integrity would be a good.
Well, integrity, yeah, it's
Yeah.
another one. And it's, why have we letting all of these morals and responsibilities that we should have to those individuals, why are they falling to the wayside?
Because people aren't suffering the consequences of their actions, and they're not being
Yeah.
made to pay the price for the shit decisions they make.
Yeah.
And a lot of those decisions are being supplemented, rewarded, even protected.
Right.
You know, there's just so much of that going on that the moral stuff just kind of becomes like, you know, you're only going to have a few people actually do it who feel like inside of them that's who they need to be.
I just feel like nobody has any values anymore.
Yeah.
That's just kind of where I'm at, man. I mean, it's,
Well, people do. It's just, you know, you got to be a lot more selective about who you actually become friends with or keep hang out with and be friends with.
man, I tell you what.
It's tough, but you know, obviously we know, you know, we're not perfect. Nobody's perfect.
Yeah.
It's what you do with that imperfection afterward. Like if you screw up, like what kind of person are you? Are you the kind of person to avoid and not encounter and not address the issues, or are you the kind of person that makes the unnecessary apologies, talks to the people you might have hurt, makes things right?
Right.
You know, that says a lot about you too. You know, how you actually handle those imperfections.
Well, and it's something I've kind of discussed with a few others, is that I got a feeling over the next couple of weeks, by the end of this bloodbath, that I will expose a lot of people.
Yeah.
This is going to be a very just lonely little journey to the top of this mountain. I'm gonna end up finding myself up there alone.
I'm thinking for the
And that's
grand
fine.
finale. You tell me how. You tell me how much of a shit person I am. You storm off the camera and you leave the show permanently, and that's how we wrap.
No, I just I know what's about to happen. I know what's coming, but you know what? I'm gonna be better for it. I'm gonna get this finally off my chest. I think that by the end of it, I will be in a better mental state of mind. At least I hope. This is kind of like watching Dr. Phil. Although you're not bald, well, I mean, you're getting there, but you're better looking than Dr. Phil, and you're better dressed too. I do like the vest. You mentioned
thank
something
you.
earlier about getting me in a vest. Won't ever happen. I got man boobs out the ass. It was like, you know, these perky little
No,
things.
actually, form
I'm
fitting.
talking about me.
Very nice. You should try it.
No, I'm not doing it. I'm not
Get
doing
you
a
in your
vest.
little flip flops, your shorts, your cargo shorts, and a vest.
Dude, I live in this stuff.
I know you do.
Like, I'm perfectly matched.
I'm still
too.
impressed that you said you dressed yourself in the dark and came up with this.
I did.
Like, that's impressive.
I know. This is like,
Somebody's like, you have a guardian angel, and that's if there's ever any evidence, that's the. So listen, if you guys want to join us for the after show, we're going to be dropping that link for the Zoom call in our Discord channel, in the announcements section. Feel free to hop in there and join us and have this conversation, and then we'll continue the conversation there.
Note to self: don't tell Anthony super secretive. And never cross him. You know, it's not that you can't tell me things. I can keep a secret. It's just the way that I've been treated. It's the way that I've been done. And I think
just
we
don't
all
be
kind
a
of
shithead.
don't be a shitty person.
Yeah.
Straight up, just be a good individual. Understand that if you're a good person and you do good things, that will come tenfold. And that's the thing that I tell people all the time. This is not hard to do. Just like marriages and relationships, you know, we're all given those choices. You know, nobody put a gun to your head and said that you have to cheat. Nobody said that you had to do this or you had to do that.
It all goes back to just treat others the way you want to be treated, really. I mean, this is a simple
and
thing
it's also,
we've been taught when we were like 4.
Right, and it's also to point out, too, that when you start to see you've got to notice the red flags. I have not noticed them until my 40th. You know, I'm in my 40s now. So it's like I am just now grasping the understanding of all of this.
That's